A growing number of Roman Catholic residents in the community of Halthorpe area of Maryland created a need for another place of worship. In 1911, a group of community members approached Father John Sullivan of St. Clement Parish with the request to create a mission parish. Father Sullivan agreed and approached Cardinal Gibbons with the request. Permission was granted, and in 1912 construction began on Ascension Church. The 100-foot by 120-foot parcel of land on Fairview Avenue was donated for the purpose of creating a new church. A loan of $3,000 provided the funding necessary to complete the project. The church was completed, and on May 1, 1913, they celebrated the first Mass, which fell on Ascension Thursday. The dedication of the church took place on Sunday, September 14th. It was a wood frame building with cedar shingles with a seating capacity of 50 people, and it soon became known as the Church on the Hill. While no written documentation has been discovered, the church appears to have been named because it was built at the top of a hill, and the first Mass in the church was planned for Ascension Thursday. Father Sullivan was the first pastor of Ascension Parish, with 20 families on the initial registry. Only 3 years later, on August 19, 1916, tragedy struck as the church on the hill was consumed by fire. Fortunately, the building was fully insured to enable the parish to quickly rebuild. The parish continued to blossom. In the first parish report filed with the Archdiocese of Baltimore, it was recorded that approximately 100 people attended the church. The Ascension parishioners held a variety of fundraising events, such as church suppers and card parties between 1913 and 1922, which enabled them to make their final mortgage payment on the church on December 6, 1922. In 1921, after the growth of the Halthorpe area, St. Clement Church asked to be relieved of the mission church. The request was granted, and Father Leo Feely was assigned to Ascension Parish. But shortly after, in 1922, Father Francis Flanagan was appointed pastor. A home on the corner of Maple and Potomac Avenues was purchased to provide a rectory for the priest. One of the documented highlights in the Church of the Ascension history was in October of 1927. The Fair of the Iron Horse, celebrating the B&O centennial, was taking place nearby. Chief Two Guns White Calf and his tribe of Blackfoot Native Americans attended Mass at Ascension, wearing traditional garments which thrilled the parishioners. The parishioners provided transportation for the tribe from the fairgrounds to the church. As the area continued to grow, the church needed to expand as well into a new chapel. In 1926, builders began construction of a 3-level building which would house a chapel, school, and social hall. Again, parish suppers, church bazaars, and card parties, among other things, were used as fundraisers to help pay for the new facility. The chapel was ready for the Christmas Midnight Mass in 1927. Father Joseph Ells succeeded Father Flanagan as pastor in 1936, and soon after, Father Casimir Kadash became the church's first assistant pastor. The impact of World War II was felt in Ascension Parish as well. 9 church members perished in the war, and Father Kadash became an army chaplain. In the 1940s and 50s, there was a rapid succession of pastors, including Father Michael Cartwright, Father Joseph Riordan, and Father Gerard Spraker. Assistant pastors were Father Mertz, Father John Barbronitz, and Father Alphonse Rose. Under Father Spraker's direction, plans were developed to construct a new parish building, with 2 stories for classrooms and a lower-level auditorium. Ground was broken on Ascension Thursday in 1959. The school was ready for the 1960 school year, and the parish was ready for its first Mass at Midnight Mass on Christmas of 1960. Father E. Gerard Hoosman finally succeeded Father Spraker in 1976. The assistant pastor, Father Lentz, was reassigned because of a shortage of Baltimore priests, which left a void in the parish. The new position of pastoral associate was created. Betty Van Orden was the first pastoral associate of Ascension. In the 1980s, under the leadership of Father Hoosman, the decision was made to build a church for Ascension to replace the temporary facility located in the basement of the school building. The property where the rectory and previous church school buildings stood was determined to be the new site for the Ascension Church building. In September of 1984, ground was broken for the construction of a church, and a year later the church was completed. Father Manuel Roman succeeded Father Hoosman, and Betty Van Order was succeeded by Sister Mary Catherine Lewandowski, OSF. After the new church was completed, renovations were needed in the basement of the school building to convert the area into a social hall for parish and school use. All of the labor was donated by parishioners and friends of the church. The hall became known as the Brewer Hall, in honor of Julian and June Brewer, who provided the major funding. The next facilities change took place at the new millennium. The Sodality of the Blessed Mother raised the money to erect a bell tower to enable the parish to resume the use of its bell. It was completed in spring of 2001. Deacon Thomas Yanuzzi was assigned to the church as a permanent deacon in November of 2004.
Since 2004, there have been many significant changes at Ascension. Father Roman, the long-term pastor, retired after over 20 years. He was replaced by Father Adam Parker, who was replaced after 2 years with myself, Father John. During that time, the youth group was revived, and unfortunately also during that time, Ascension School was closed after 80 years. Also, most recently, just 2 years ago in 2011, Ascension was collaborative as a parish with St. Augustine's when I was named pastor there as well in 2011. So as you can see, over the last 100 years, there have been many changes, and there continues to be many changes here at Ascension, as this community of faith and as this parish continues to grow and to continue to respond to the modern challenges of the gospel.